Rangers Time Force. You might know him from the new upcoming Legends of the White Dragon. We're going to talk about all that. Jason, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So tell us, let's start with the hot topic right now. A lot of people are talking about this White Dragon. Tell me a
Yeah.
little bit about White Dragon. I watched the trailer. I've looked at it. It seems like you're a main character in that, right?
Yep. Yep.
It looks really dope. The special effects and everything that I'm seeing. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I think there's been this real want from the Power Ranger fandom to see a lot of his Power Rangers in a more mature audience, a more mature setting. So not it's not a Power Ranger film, but it's one involving Power Rangers that has a lot of the same feels to it. So I think there's been somewhat of a race to be the first to get this project out there, and there's been several attempts over the years, but this one finally is going to be the one to do it. So Bat and the Sun collaborated with Jason David Frank, and they wanted to make this project. I'm not sure who came up with the script, but the script was created, and then the Kickstarter came out back in November, and we went a little too high up and not enough time, so it fell short.
Yes.
So then we kind of retooled everything, kind of reformatted some stuff. There's a little bit of a change in cast, and came back, and now finally it went through. And we got another 20 days, and hopefully we get to our stretch goals so we can make multiple episodes of this thing. And so yeah, we're excited to get this thing out there. Bat in the Sun does some amazing work, and we've got a really cool cast coming in, and hopefully this is the project that everyone's always wanted to see.
The cast looks phenomenal. Phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
It's been a long day. So yeah, the cast looks great. And yeah, I saw that the Kickstarter fell short the first time around. You said you guys aimed a little too high where the ultimate goal was.
Yeah, I think it was. And again, I'm not the producer on it, but I believe I want to say they shot for $500,000 in
Mm-hmm.
30 days. Was that right?
I
And so
believe that's what it was.
yeah, so it came up short. So then we decided to do like a stretch goal, starting with 100 grand, which we hit like right away. So I think we're at around 205,000 now. We really want to get to 250, so we can get this thing turned into a mini series with the hopes of maybe a bigger fish coming along and making this a film.
So this obviously it has some of the Power Rangers in it, or Power Ranger actors, I should say. But
Yeah.
the characters, are they going to be tied into the Power Ranger verse universe, or it's going to be
Totally separate, yeah. So
okay?
there'll be some Easter eggs in there, some little nods in that direction. But it's a brand new IP, and we're looking to the only thing that is Power Rangers, the fact that some of us were actors in that show.
Gotcha.
Um, but it will be a totally different feel, a totally different property, and hopefully even get this as far as our own action figures. That's what we're going to do.
That would be pretty dope.
Yep.
The Power Rangers franchise in general is just a great franchise. Now you started you started with Power Rangers with the Time Force, correct? That was like 2001.
Correct. Yeah.
And what got you to uh, Power Rangers Time Force? Like, were you doing acting before that? How did that come about?
Well, I'd been an actor, and I at the time was waiting tables, doing that whole thing, auditioning. I had some good success on different soap operas. I was on the soap operas Passions and Port Charles, and then Power Rangers at the time. Hollywood was very, very different. I mean, we didn't have the ability to film a lot of our individual stuff like we can now. But you went on auditions for different projects all the time, and Power Rangers was just an audition that went well. So it's one of many you go on, and I thought I was going to do the soap opera route for a while, but then this kind of came and went, and then from there it kind of changed the landscape of my career going forward.
So were you a fan of the Power Ranger franchise before you took on that role?
I was not. I was very familiar with its success. I was 27 at the time when I booked the role, and I was, in college when Power Rangers came out. So I was past that age at that point. I was heavy into sports and baseball, so I was very familiar with the phenomena, but hadn't thought anything about it. So it was pretty crazy once everything comes full circle,
Mhm.
and it all played out like it did. Pretty crazy.
And and now you're obviously delved deep into that universe.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
I, I was a fan of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and I, after that, I kind of trailed off. I'm a little bit younger than you, but the Time Force I was familiar with, but wasn't. I guess you could say I wasn't watching it back then. And since I've gotten into the pop culture scene, obviously I've brushed up on a lot of stuff there. So
Yep.
I know from a couple friends of mine are really big Power Rangers fans, and I was asking them, I was like, tell me a little bit about the Time Force season and what you know about it. And the one thing that I kept hearing from everybody is that it was a great casting, and that you guys over the years seem to have remained very close knit. Is that true?
Yeah, our cast became very close, very sibling. Um, and it's funny. I always think that we did it right. We all kept a very a very brother sister relationship going. Because a lot of times, to be totally honest, on these sets, you're there every day. Sometimes behind the scenes, love relationships take place, and you know. But we always were stayed brother and sister, and I think that kept the work environment very very professional, and it had a very good. It just kept the environment good because that stuff can really create some toxic. Can become toxic when those things happen. So we were very close. We've remained close. We're close to this day. We're doing a big virtual Comic Con on the Wizard World platform next Saturday.
I
So
heard
we
that.
just
Yeah,
always do a
yeah.
lot of stuff together. Yeah.
And speaking of like the Comic Cons, you guys go to a lot of the cons together, or
Yeah.
there's always a few of you there from your season, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Um, Now, somebody was telling me that there was almost a movie made of your season, and then some things that were going on, kind of had that set aside. Is this true?
I've heard that, but I've never heard that. If that makes sense. So people always say that. There was rumors that our cast and our season became so popular that they consider bringing us back for a second season. I actually lobbied for that because I was very comfortable, you know, working at that show, and they didn't bring people back for a second season. At that point, they
Mhm.
were replacing every year. So I made a play for that back then, and but they stuck with their formula. And but I did hear there was some talks of that, but I don't remember hearing that at the time.
And you played two characters on your season, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Yep.
Uh,
Wes and Alex, one from the future, and then one from the present day.
Okay. And what was like some of your favorite? What was one of your favorite things from that season when you were working? Like one of your favorite episodes, or one of the favorite shoots?
Well, I think there were two of them that stand out. Movie Madness was like right in the middle of the season. That was really cool because they really took their time and created some good production value for Movie Madness. We filmed at Universal a lot, and that was a two-part series that was really well done. And then my favorite episodes were probably End of Time. They actually made it a three-parter: End of Time, Part One, Two, and Three. So I would say End of Time was really well done, the way it all wrapped up our story.
You have an action figure coming out. I know you. There's been other action figures, but there's one that is coming out. I think it's next month or
Yeah,
July. That's
June
been
1st.
June 1st. There you go. Photo real. They got your face and everything on this.
Uh-huh.
Uh, what do you think about it?
I love the action figure thing. It's always been my favorite thing about the show is the action figure because in some way it'll be one of those things that immortalizes you. It'll be around forever. So, um, they made they made two of me back in the day with my face on it. One was like, I want to say the 12-inch figures. The other one was like the regular 6-inch. And and then when they're doing Hasbro, the Lightning collection
Lightning
came out.
collection.
Yeah, I was very big on trying to reach out to Hasbro and saying, "Hey guys, let's bring this back. Time Force is so popular." So very cool that they did that, and so excited to have that come back. It's and that's a big thing for Comic Cons. Fans love to have those signs, so it's really cool.
Yeah, when Hasbro acquired that license, I know, like I said, I've always been familiar with the properties, but
Yeah,
I haven't been as deep into the Power Rangers for a couple of years now. So when they came back out, I was hearing so much talk about this license, and then the different characters. And around that time, some other projects were coming along,
yeah,
and with Jason David Frank, and it was real cool. And then I started seeing the figures, and I'm like, wow, these are not the figures that I remember when I
yeah.
was a kid. Like, super articulated, the accessories, and the fact that now your face, it looks like the characters. And I thought it was really cool. And people are really really digging these figures. And um, has your family reached out like, hey, we want a couple of you?
Yeah, they always do. I think my mom doesn't see this stuff, so once it comes out, they always love that stuff. My grandparents, when they were alive, got so much mileage out of that back in the day, so they would have been tickled to see this happen again. So, but my mom's very excited. My nephews are very excited, and I think my daughters are excited.
Yeah.
So it always makes it fun.
uh, Let me see. I saw. I don't know if it's an actual like TikTok video, but you guys did like a Ranger Rumble.
Yeah.
Uh, that was pretty cool. You were like one of the first ones there, getting knocked down, look like you're crying, and that. Uh, who decided to throw that together, and how was that trying to get everything to blend?
It was Chris. I forgot Chris Can't Force. I think it's his last name, but he's out in the Philippines. He put that together and asked us all to come up with our own take on getting punched and then retaliating. And I knew that everybody was going to come out with big kicks and spins and all this stuff. So I thought I'd take, as I like to do, a totally different approach on all these challenges. I like to kind of do something totally against type. So that's what I did. I got knocked down. I cried, and my girlfriend came and stepped in and beat up the bully.
Yeah, I watched it. It was pretty cool. I liked how you guys just blended everything together. My wife and her cousins were doing one of the TikTok challenges, and so I had to help record her and my
Yeah.
daughter, and they did like 10 different takes. How many takes did you do to get it right? Was it one take?
Well, you know what? Because I was trying to coach my girlfriend on what I wanted her to do, because it took maybe 4 or 5,
Okay.
but we got that thing done in like probably a minute. We just kept
Okay.
hit go and go, but I walked her through. Hey, here's what I want. I want you to come in and do it this way, and once we kind of set the camera, took a few to kind of land our marks, but then she did. She's not an actress, so it took
Okay.
her a second, but she did it great.
You choreographed it, and then you knocked it out.
Yep, yep, exactly.
Uh, Another thing that I was impressed when I looked you up and tried to do some background on it was anime. You've done some voice work. Um, you've done the was it Resident Evil, right? The voice for Leon. Leon is
Well, yeah, actually, well, for Resident Evil, it's pretty crazy. Matthew Mercer does all the voice for Leon. He's been doing the voice before I came on, but then I auditioned for all the motion capture stuff, which is pretty cool because the way the Resident Evil job is so big, it takes two people. So all those scenes we film just like a movie. We deliver our lines, the whole deal with deliver our lines with emotion, how anger, however we're going to do it, and then Matt watches how we do it, and then he's got to make his voice inflect in the same way we did it. So, but the motion capture job for Resident Evil for the video game took 2 years. That's how big it was.
Oh wow, I didn't
So
know
we
they
fil-
take that long.
yeah, I mean, billion-dollar empire, and they take their time. and then Matt has to go through and watch us do it, and then he has to install his voice while we were filming the action in all the scenes. He's doing the voices, and then it all kind of blends into one. So similar to Power Rangers, where we do all the footage where it's our face,
Hmm.
and then all the stuntmen do the stuff in the helmets, and then they merge together. It's the same thing. Same thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was wrong on that. I apologize.
No, no, not at all. Most
But
people think it, but yeah, I always like to give credit to Matt because he does the voice of it, and the body and the face and everything is molded after me.
it's after you. Now,
Yeah.
now you have done voice work for some anime stuff, correct?
No, I haven't actually. No,
No.
I
Is
haven't
it
gotten in
something
the
that
anime world. Yeah, I've done voice stuff for other things, but nothing in the anime department, and I'd love
what's
to.
up? What's some of the voice work that you've done?
There's been some video game stuff I've done things for. Power Rangers brought me in. I did some villains back in the day. Um, Gosh, that's all I can think of. Most of my stuff has always been on camera. You
Okay.
know. Yep.
Oh, we gotta work on getting you some anime stuff going. That's a huge world there.
Yeah, it
Uh,
is a huge world. It is a huge world.
the cons, people love their anime, especially
Yep,
like
they do.
you know.
They do.
So you like being on screen doing the stunt work, fighting. What are you trained in?
Well, I trained Jeet Kune Do years before I got the role. So I spent about 2.5 years training Jeet Kune Do. But ironically, during our season, it was all about the acting. The show became union during that time, so they decided to look for actors first, and the martial arts stuff was secondary. So
Really?
our season
Okay.
was the totally different take on the normal pattern of what they would do. Like I said, they used to bring in stuntmen and martial artists and gymnasts for girls, and then worry about the acting later. For our season, they did the exact opposite.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that was
and
it.
you think that's why your season's one of the favorite among fans because it doesn't have that corniness that they say some of the earlier seasons had. It
Yeah,
has
I
actual
think that's what
actors.
happened. Yeah, they just brought in some really good actors in Edward Albert and Vernon Wells, and those guys have done a lot of mainstream Hollywood movies, and I think they really just took their time developing the characters, developing the arcs of the characters, and it really showed. And I think over time, as you got 25, 26 seasons of Power Rangers, and they start to blend together, and that's why I think Time Force really stood out. People see it and they're like, wow, like, man, the Red Ranger dies in episode one. You know, spoiler alert if anyone hasn't seen it yet.
For anybody who
But
hasn't seen it.
yeah, so I think they just went this season's a little bit different, and it kind of pulls you in, and then you go on a nice journey with the characters. And I mean, heck, Boom Comics is redoing it in October for the sequel to our season, so we're going to find out what happens after the show ended.
Yeah, I saw that. That's I definitely thought that was interesting. The drawing is phenomenal on that.
Yeah.
Um, and do you think right now with everything going on with comics, this is the right time to release that?
I don't know. I mean, when they told me about it in the action figure, I thought, man, this is going to be a huge summer and fall for me personally, selfishly, because the action figure comes out in June, and Morphicon is in September, and the Boom Comics in October. And I thought, man, this is my year. But God has a way of when thinking you plan everything perfectly, He just goes, "Oh, I think we can change that up." So
Throw a little curveball in there a little bit,
yeah,
as,
yeah,
as we've all been experiencing
yeah.
last couple months. Uh, I Another thing that I actually put on my list of movies to watch. I've been watching a lot of movies. I found this cool movie, um, Beast of the Water.
Yeah.
Steve Cardenas. I had the chance to meet Steve at New York Comic Con with Emilio. Seemed like a real cool guy.
Yeah.
Um, that movie, it's a thriller horror movie. Tell me a little bit.
Well, what was cool about it for me is I finally got to play a bad guy, a villain, and so that was what was really cool. So in the very beginning, my character is kind of this settler guy that's going through and taking out the Indian culture, and by killing the main elder Indian, he unleashes this spirit, this beast that protects this area. So it was cool to be able to play a departure from what I normally do, and as a result of this killing of this elder Indian, 200-300 years ago, they moved to the present day where this group of scientists are trying to find the Fountain of Youth, and in this native land, and this beast is there protecting it and killing them as they come in. So it's a cool story that kind of, it feels a little Avatar-ish in the fact that it's going into these lands, but it's definitely a horror, creature feature type of thing, and I'm in the first 5 minutes of the film playing the villain, which is pretty cool.
Okay, yeah, it looked really cool. I'm Native American, half Native American, so I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
definitely check that out.
Yeah.
The So you trained in Jeet Kune Do.
Uh-huh.
Do Is that the only style that you've trained in, or have you continued to train over the years?
I haven't. I'm a big workout rat. I mean, I'm in the gym all the time, but in terms of martial arts, I have not.
Okay.
Ironically, I go in for surgery tomorrow for my. I've got a torn rotator cuff.
Oof.
So I go in tomorrow, get that fixed. It's going to be about 4 months of rehab, and then when I'm done, I'd like to get into jiu-jitsu. I've got limited experience in that from Jeet Kune Do, which encompasses all martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
So it just kind of touches on everything. So, but jiu-jitsu is something I'd like to know a little bit more about, and I think that's something I'll look into once this is all healed up.
So, are they doing the arthroscopic, or they're going to cut you open and fully rebuild it? I know a little bit about that.
Yeah, I had my right one done orthoscopically. They'll go orthoscopically. They got to replace a tendon and the rotator cuff.
Oof.
Yeah.
Did you have a bad injury, or just over time this kind of happened?
Well, I think over time from just lifting so much weights all the time, but I actually hurt this one hitting a heavy bag. And I
That would do
remember
it.
specifically, which I do hit heavy bags as part of my workouts whenever I'm around one. But something kind of tweaked in there, and I was like, oh man, that felt weird. It got better. I was like back to lifting at half capacity, and then I play in a men's softball league on Thursday nights, and I went and played. And during the game, I just felt something. I was like, oh man, this isn't good. So I think I aggravated it by that game from, just up and down with my mitt.
Yeah.
But it was from hitting a heavy bag. Yeah.
I used to practice Muay Thai in the traditional boxing, and I slid a punch. I was training for a fight, and I slid a punch. I'm about 250 walking around, and was training with another heavyweight, and I slid his punch, and he went right into my shoulder, and it just popped right out.
Oh.
And yeah, it was a real horrible feeling, and the doctors wanted to rebuild me at the time. They wanted to cut it fully open. They didn't want to just go in and so I actually told them no, and just worked on healing it myself over the years. And I feel it every now and then. It's fine. You know what? I can't go in the gym and bench press or shoulder press heavy. I have to be very careful. But when I am doing it, I'll feel, it's almost like you feel the bone start to roll in the socket, and I have like a split second just to stop lifting, or else it locks. But I mean, yeah, I definitely feel it coming. But I mean, the injury now, I would say, is probably over 15 years old, and I'm fine. I could do everything that I normally do. I know my limits. So
benching is still a problem. Benching is still a problem for you.
If I bench heavy, if I go real heavy, or if I shoulder press with dumbbells heavy. If it's a straight bar, it's fine. But if I use dumbbells, I have had it lock up, where actually I had it one time. I had 100 pounds in each hand, and it locked up over my head, and I had to literally throw the dumbbell. So
wow.
So I understand
where that hit your head. That'll crush you.
We've all seen those YouTube videos.
Oh my God. Wow.
Uh,
Yeah.
I hope you have a speedy recovery. Obviously, I'm sure you had the other one done, so you
Yeah.
know how to take care of that. But definitely hope
Yeah.
you have a speedy recovery with that. None of those injuries are ever fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so besides the White Dragon, what other projects do you have that are going on that we can talk about a little bit?
Well, there's a few things. The one that I'm most proud of is called For Nothing. I just got done filming a mafia TV pilot in Buffalo, based on the novel For Nothing. There's a 6-part novel called For Nothing on Amazon that can be bought, and it's the relationship between the New York and the Buffalo Mafia.
Okay.
So they're trying to go after that Sopranos niche again, is what this is trying to accomplish. But basically, the relationship between these two mafias and how something happens that deteriorates quickly and starts a roar, um, a turf war within the same state. So it stars Michael Madsen, Daniel Baldwin, myself, Eve Morrow, um, Jimmy Duvall. It's a great cast, and and the good thing is we filmed this right before the Corona stuff kicked in.
Okay.
So they're doing the trailer and they're doing the pilot now. So when this thing clears, we're gonna have this product ready to go, and it looks like hopefully Netflix or HBO pick this thing up, and then we go to series.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Nice.
that's the one that I'm really excited about. That's recent, and then there's two more things. Honeymoon in Paradise is a movie that I filmed in the Caribbean that has not released yet, even though it was filmed a couple years ago. So Honeymoon in Paradise hopefully comes out soon. And then lastly,
Sorry.
you got that sun hitting you?
Yeah, I decided to sit on my deck. So while we talking, there was no sun here
Well, it's
before.
beautiful out there. It's beautiful out
It
there.
is. It is. Honeymoon in Paradise.
Honeymoon in Paradise, which is a film that talks about how reality shows really go behind the scenes to pull some strings to elicit real emotion within their cast. So it's kind of a story about how a couple that was once dating finds himself on the same love reality show, and have to pretend they don't know each other because they're wanting to win this money, and then they fall in love again, despite the producers finding this out, trying to put them against each other, and kind of love prevailing amongst this reality show world, which is pretty cool.
Do,
And then the other one is ELE, which is a TV pilot I did in Canada. And that one, hopefully, that has not come out yet either.
okay.
So a lot of these are still sitting there, and that's just the story of this. It's what makes that one special is that it was all done in one take, 45-minute.
Straight shoot.
Did not stop one time, and it was filmed in a Canadian nuclear war bunker in Canada. And it was the day in the life, and this guy's life unraveling before his eyes during this war situation, and we followed him the whole way through. Yeah.
Now, can you tell us? This hasn't been solicited yet, obviously, right?
Right. Right.
Okay, so you can't tell us too much about that. Besides,
Yeah. Well,
okay.
I mean,
but it's a straight shoot, 45 minute straight shoot.
straight shoot. Yeah, I mean, I'm the main guy, so I pull up, and it's a normal day. There's a little bit of beef with this Canadian Air Force general who's dating my sister, and he's kind of a fly boy, and I'm not really happy with this. But it's pretty much a normal day, and suddenly the alarms start going off. Something's happening. Now remember, we're down in this war bunker, and this craziness is happening, and we get I think it's DEFCON 1 or DEFCON 4. I forgot what the main one is, but we get orders to release nuclear bombs, and then after we're told to release in the coordinates, we lose complete communication with the outside world.
Okay.
So all we're told is unleash it now. Here's the coordinates, and then boom, we lose everything. So it turns into a battle of wills between myself and the higher ranking army officer, of him saying, I don't know what's going on, but we've been given orders, we got to follow them. And me saying, well, wait, we don't know what's happening. We can't just unleash nuclear warfare without some sort of, communication as to what's going on. So it becomes this real heated um, nuclear war situation, and it becomes even more so when we found out that the coordinates are the White House and the Pentagon
Oh
that
wow.
we're putting our own bombs on. So that's what's happening, and it's just complete commotion. The time is ticking, and the stakes are very high. And it ends up having some alien, and then we think there's a Russian involvement. That's what's happening, and then it ends up being some alien involvement. So that's what's going on.
Seems like a real like adrenaline run.
Yeah, it goes fast. It's a normal day, and then boom, the bombs get dropped, and then
Everything hits the fan.
yep, yep.
And is there? Well, there's no release date on that as of yet, right?
No, unfortunately not. So I hope they find a home for that because I was really proud of that one. So I'd be interested to see it.
And what's the name of that again?
That is ELE for
E
extermination level event. Yeah,
ELE. I'm gonna
ELE.
keep an eye out on that.
I'm gonna plug this in real quick here.
Okay.
My battery's going there. So all three of those are coming out soon, and we'll see what happens.
Definitely, it definitely could be your year with everything lined up. But imagine, you get everything lined up and straight through the winter. You, it would be all year 2020, 2021.
Yep, there you go. There you go.
ELE sounds phenomenal. You're a big sports guy, from what I hear. Also,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
you said you play softball. Now, you travel around the states and play.
No, no, my schedule is I think my days of doing that are done. My schedule's just too busy. But I have a league that I play in on Thursday nights when I'm in town.
Okay.
So I try to get usually 2 or 3 games in if I can a month. But if I'm in town, yeah. So I just play there, and I'm at the gym all the time, and that's about as much time as I have with my daughters.
With how many daughters do you have?
2 daughters.
So you're a girl dad, just like me.
Yeah. How many do you have?
I got two. I got
Okay.
two. Yeah, it's fun times, right?
How old are they?
6 and 1 month.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
come talk to me in about 8 years, and we'll have more discussions.
I can only imagine. I can
Yeah.
only imagine. Uh, well, what's since you've been in the Power Rangers universe and you've gone to the Comic Cons, what's one of like the wildest things that you've seen, or one of the craziest fan experiences that you've had?
Oh man. Well, the ones I can tell you. I think, man, there's been so many stories. People ask me this all the time. It's like when you say someone, tell me a good joke, and you you forget the joke when someone asks you to tell it. But I don't know. I mean, I've had so many stories where we've just been. I've met so many children that from a young age we helped get them through their life or their day, whether it was through abuse or divorce or a loss of a parent, where they looked at us as the only thing that made their day better. And now they're adults. I mean, I've seen grown men who are police officers, in their young 20s, saying that, this memory they had of their father, and they're breaking down in tears, grown men. So you just hear so many stories of how he impacted lives. Far too many to tell, but I think that's always my favorite is just hearing these stories of how we made people's lives better.
And touch somebody without even really knowing that
Yep.
you have.
Yep.
Um, how are you and your family doing with everything that's going on right now with the coronavirus, the pandemic that's affecting everybody?
It's. I mean, fine. We're. I think there's 3.2 million people in Orange County, and we've had 33 deaths. So we're in a pretty flat area. We're by the ocean, so it's pretty airy. So we've been lucky. We don't know of anyone that's been affected by it, but we're just quarantining and playing by the rules and hoping that we can get going here pretty quick because we're all stuck inside and wanting to get out and see our loved ones and continue our lives again. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Are the girls going a little stir crazy?
I think a little bit, but I think that not having to go to school is overriding that right now.
Ah.
Yeah, so I think that they feel like, you know what, the school stuff is not as hard, so they're liking that.
Yeah, I'm seeing that with my daughter as well, where, you know, I thought it would be affecting her, and uh, she's enjoying not being at school, but at the same
Yeah.
time, misses her friends and stuff like that. Like you said, being able to get out and just see your friends, family.
Yep.
Uh, my other daughter was born right as everything happened,
Oh,
so
that's right.
only literally think maybe two or three family members have seen my daughter besides on like face chats and FaceTime
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's
Congratulations.
thank you. It's definitely different times, but hopefully all this will be behind us soon. I'm glad that you and your family are everybody's doing well and nobody directly has been affected.
Yeah.
With you. I'm over here on the East Coast, and it's
Where are you?
I'm in Jersey. So
Oh, wow.
I'm in Jersey. I'm about 20 to 30 minutes from New York City.
Wow. So you're
So
right there.
yeah, it's where I'm at was one of the hot spots for a while, and then obviously the city. I've talked to a couple people, and actually one person that I did an interview with, his wife had it, and he was right there dealing with it. So I do count my blessings that nothing. I haven't had it. My wife, my daughters, no, nobody directly. My uncle had it over there in California, by you. Um, but
Oh,
he's better, so we're all healthy. So
that's
it's
good.
definitely a blessing. That's why it's nice. I do come outside when I can.
Yeah. Got
You
to be
know,
outside.
yeah, I'm sure it's driving you guys nuts. You're right there by the beaches and stuff. It's definitely got to be tough.
Yeah.
Um, well, Jason, I thank you. Oh, one other thing. So you were supposed to come to New York Comic Con, and all this happened.
Yeah.
Um, are we gonna get you back? Well, once there's another convention. Have you ever been to New York Comic Con?
No. No, I haven't, but my other Rangers have, and they said, "Oh my God, that's the one to go to." So I'm supposed to go at Boom Comics this year, and I know Emilio mentioned because you have a booth there.
Yeah, Emilio has a booth, and I usually hang out with him.
Okay.
Steve's been over there helping him.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I've never been, and I'm supposed to go to Boom Comics this year, and hopefully next year, if it goes this year. I mean, October's a long way away, so you never know. You never know.
yeah. Have,
So fingers crossed.
have you been to San Diego? San Diego Comic Con?
I haven't done San Diego in about 5 years.
Okay.
I was going to do it this year, but yeah, I haven't done it in a long time. So I'm going to try and hit all these big ones next year. I definitely learned that the bigger ones are better for us. For a while, I kind of like doing a little bit smaller ones, being a bit of a bigger fish in a smaller pond. But
Okay.
those big ones are just they just work for everybody.
They do. It's
Yeah,
very crazy. Well, New York isn't anything like San Diego though. New York is still it's a different animal. It's an experience.
yeah.
From what I hear, it's nothing compared to San Diego Comic Con. I haven't been there myself. Uh,
Okay.
I've just seen things and know how the events go. But
Yeah,
I've been to New York several times. It's a good time.
yeah,
So hopefully, like you said, October is far away. We don't know what's going
yeah,
to happen. Um, rumors are that they might cancel it, but hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully, we still see something. Um, but hopefully we get you out here. Get you
yeah,
out here, and the fans, the East Coast fans, would love to see you,
yeah.
and get some of the other guys with you. All right, so the White Dragon has you're about halfway through with that, um, and you've reached your initial funding goal, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so now we're just working on the getting the stretch goals. So um, we will see this go into production, or actually the initial part of it. I
100%. Yep.
can't wait to see it. Looking forward to seeing some action figures from it, and just just checking the whole thing out. Uh, I do appreciate you talking with us,
Of
Jason.
course, buddy. Thank you for having me.
I hope you and your family stay safe, and we have to do this again and see what the future brings for you, and
And for you as well. It's for you as well. Congratulations on your new one, and congratulations on those little girls. I'll tell you what, it goes by fast, and I know you hear people say it, but I'm here to tell you again. It's these little girls in about 5 6 years, 7 8 years, their attention turns toward their friends and the little boys. So enjoy this time now because it does go.
yeah, I've had that talk where I've been like, who's this guy, who's this kid you're talking about? Let me meet him. I
Yeah,
can only
exactly.
imagine you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so stay safe,
All
and
right, brother. You too. I look forward to meeting you in person, and hopefully we'll get that done here sometime this year.
definitely. All right, thank you again.
All right, brother. Take care, man.
Take
Thanks
care.
for having me. Bye bye.